I paid her to read my cards. She paid me back by ruining my marriage with one tap. Let me explain something first. I didn't just find this woman on TikTok. She wasn't some glitter-covered, incense-swinging scammer selling love spells for $7.99 a pop. She was recommended by a friend who said, "She's legit. She saw my breakup before it happened. She's deep, grounded, cosmic, real." So I booked a reading. I thought it would be healing. What I got instead was betrayal disguised as clarity, and a voice note forwarded to the man I was most afraid to confront. Let's rewind. 2 months ago, I started getting that feeling. "You know the one." The late replies. The new cologne. The sudden need for space, when he used to crave my skin like oxygen. His name is Jason. My husband. 3 years married. 7 together. And lately, he started saying things like, "You've been really anxious lately. You always think the worst. Maybe you need to talk to someone spiritual about this." That last one, that's what sent me to her. Her name was Lana. Her profile was immaculate. No pick a card. No chaotic reels. Just a soft, clean aesthetic. Muted tones. Phrases like, intuitive accountability. Spirit doesn't lie, but you must be ready to hear. And I was. So ready. I booked the clarity session. 60 minutes. Zoom call. $111. I told myself I was investing in myself. In us. In my intuition. What I didn't know. I was walking into a trap, set with rose quartz and sage. The reading felt real. She shuffled slowly. Deliberately. Like she'd been doing it for lifetimes. She asked me nothing. Just started talking. "I feel distance in your field. Your masculine energy is evasive." I nodded like a child in church. "I'm seeing a split, not just emotionally, possibly physically." She paused. Looked up. "Do you feel like he's hiding something?" I laughed. Nervously. "I know he is." After the reading, I felt cracked open. Like someone had finally said what I'd been screaming silently into my pillow at 3 a.m. So I did what anyone in emotional freefall might do. I recorded a voice note. Not for Jason. Not for my therapist. For her. It was raw. Ugly. Unfiltered. I sobbed. Snorted. Said things like, "I think he's cheating. I feel so crazy, but my gut is screaming. I hate that I can't prove it, and I hate that I need proof. And worst of all, I wish I could just disappear. I feel insane." I ended it with, "Sorry, I just needed to get that out. I trust you." I hit send and collapsed into bed. She didn't reply. Not that night. Not the next day. I figured she was holding space in silence. Like some ethereal priestess floating above my human drama. What she was actually doing. Forwarding it to Jason. I found out 3 days later. He came home from the gym. Dropped his bag. Looked calm. "So, you've been sending messages about me to strangers now." My blood ran cold. "What are you talking about?" He pulled out his phone. Played the voice note. My voice. Cracked. Crying. Unraveling. Echoing from his phone. In his hands. I stood there like someone had ripped the floor out from under me. How did you get that?" He smiled. That smile. The one that says, "I win." "You're psychic." She thought I should know the kind of energy you're putting out. Said she doesn't support toxicity in her clients. I couldn't breathe. What? You know her. We dated a long time ago. Guess she's still looking out for me. My knees went weak. Everything spun. The reading. The advice. The silence after my voice note. None of it had been neutral. None of it had been sacred. It was a setup. I didn't cry. Not then. I just said, "Okay, got it." Walked into the bedroom. Locked the door. and let the betrayal bloom in silence. Because it wasn't just him. It was her. My safe space, my spiritual guide, my sanctuary. And suddenly, I was unsafe everywhere. They always tell you to trust your gut. No one warns you what happens when your gut leads you to someone who's sleeping with your reality and texting your husband. Let me take you back to before the tears. Before the voice note. Before Lana. Back to when I still believed in things like energetic truth and sacred mentorship. I was spiraling. Not loudly. Quietly. Like a woman trying to keep it together with lavender oil, daily journaling, and the same playlist on repeat. Jason had changed. I knew it. But there was no smoking gun, no red lipstick on his collar, just the absence of his presence. And that's the worst kind of betrayal. The kind you can't screenshot. At first, I thought it was just stress. Work. Deadlines. Post-pandemic burnout. Then came the excuses. I'm crashing at Mark's tonight, too late to drive. I forgot to text, I was doing breathwork. Breathwork. I swear, if I hear one more man use breathwork to avoid accountability, I'll scream into a paper bag and call it a spiritual breakthrough. I tried therapy. Our couples sessions were sterile. He nodded. He agreed. He said things like, I just think she's projecting past fears. And I sat there, trying to sound rational, trying not to bleed out emotionally in front of a stranger with a clipboard. Jason had weaponized calm, and I'd internalized guilt. I started to think maybe I was imagining things. Maybe I was the problem. That's when a friend said, why don't you try a reading? At first I laughed. I wasn't a crystals and moonwater girl. I was spreadsheets, meal prep, stability. But when reality starts gaslighting you, you'll look for clarity anywhere. So I typed tarot for relationships into Google. And Lana's page came up first. Her website was a vibe. Neutral tones. No glitter. No clutter. Just calm. Like she'd never raised her voice in her life. Like she wore linen indoors and watered plants with intention. Her bio said, I'm not here to fix your relationship. I'm here to reveal what you already know. That line hit like a prophecy. So I booked. The day of the reading, I was a wreck. I had makeup on barely. My hair was in a bun. I was clinging to hope with the kind of energy only desperate women know how to channel. She logged in. Minimal smile. Calm tone. No small talk. Just cards. She flipped the first one. The moon. There's illusion here, something unseen. Second card. Three of Swords. Pain from a betrayal, not necessarily past. I choked. She tilted her head. Made eye contact through the screen like she was staring through me. You're already carrying the answer. You came to validate, not ask. I wanted to cry. But I smiled. Like a good client. Yeah, I guess I just needed confirmation. Lana didn't speak like a friend. She spoke like a faucet dripping on your forehead. Steady, cold, impossible to ignore. But that's what made her feel powerful. And that's what made me trust her. She ended the session with, you're not crazy, but your attachment might be louder than your instincts. I thought it was insight. It was actually insult. I just didn't see it yet. I spent that night curled up on my side of the bed, listening to Jason type from the living room. He said he was journaling. I checked his search history the next morning. Cleared. Every time. That's when the voice note happened. I needed to scream somewhere. And my friends were tired. My therapist was clinical. Lana had just seen me. Said what I couldn't say. Held space, even if she charged me for it. So I sent it. 39 seconds of raw, shaky, unscripted pain. And now it lived on his phone. Because Lana wasn't just a reader. She was a reporter. A spy. A sleeper cell of spiritual sabotage planted inside my breakdown. And I trusted her with my unfiltered voice. The very thing I'd spent months hiding from him. She handed to him like a sacred text. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't sleep. And the worst part, Jason used it to win. He told everyone. She was spiraling, making things up. Even her tarot reader thought so. Suddenly, I wasn't the one betrayed. I was the unstable wife. Again. Because no one questions a calm man holding a woman's tears in his pocket like evidence. But that's the part they always forget. Women who scream. They might look broken. But women who have been silenced. They build bombs with their breath. And I was about to go nuclear. The worst part of betrayal isn't the act. It's watching people treat your pain like performance because you weren't calm enough to be credible. I stopped talking for a few days. Not to Jason. Not to my friends. Not even to myself. I just floated. Through rooms. Through hours. Through apologies that never came. Jason didn't act like someone who'd crossed a line. He acted like someone who had won an argument. He started referring to my voice note as a meltdown. Said it in that fake compassionate tone. I mean, you weren't well. You needed support. You said you didn't feel safe in your body. Like my trauma was a card he could flash to disqualify my story. Like he hadn't been the one holding the matches near the gasoline. Lana never messaged me back. No apology. No explanation. No hey, I thought this was the right thing to do. Just silence. I checked her profile a few times. She posted a story the next day. A candle, a quote. Sometimes, cutting cords is an act of love. Cord cutting. Right. She cut me all right. At the root. In the throat. In the last place, I thought I could still be messy. I couldn't tell my therapist. Because my therapist doesn't believe in woo. I couldn't tell my mom. Because she'd say, why are you trusting strangers with your marriage? I couldn't even tell my best friend, Tessa, without feeling shame. You told a tarot reader your husband might be cheating. I didn't tell her, I paid her to tell me. She blinked. Didn't say anything cruel. But I could feel it. That look. Like maybe this was my fault. And that's when it hit me. I was alone. Not just emotionally. Energetically. Even in spaces where I had once felt safe, therapy, friendship, tarot, I was now the crazy one. Too dramatic. Too sensitive. Too loud. Jason didn't have to discredit me. He let my voice do it for him. Lana just gave him the file. For a while, I thought about disappearing. Not in a scary way. Just in a soft exit from the world kind of way. I fantasized about deleting my Instagram. Selling everything. Moving to a cottage in some wind-washed town where no one had ever heard of energetic wounds. Where no one used phrases like, this feels like projection. Have you checked your moon sign? Maybe your throat chakra is blocked. As if my pain needed better branding. I watched Jason from the doorway one night. He was texting. Smiling. And I thought, I used to be the person who made him smile at his phone. Then I remembered. He told me Lana was an old thing. That they hadn't spoken in years. But she had his number. She had his trust. And she knew exactly how much damage she was doing. I pulled out my phone. Replayed the voice note. Listened to my own breakdown. It didn't sound insane. It sounded human. A woman begging the universe to confirm what her partner denied. A woman trying to hold the frayed edge of a love story no longer hers. It sounded raw. Yes. But it didn't sound dangerous. Unless, of course, you're someone who profits from women keeping quiet. And that's when I decided. If they were going to weaponize my voice, I was going to use it first. I'd been speaking in safe spaces. Private messages. Quiet corners. DMS with disclaimers. But what if I stopped whispering? What if I let the whole world hear it? So I opened TikTok. Sat on my bed. Wore a hoodie. No filter. Just real. And said, I sent a voice note to my tarot reader because I was scared my husband was cheating. She forwarded it to him. Turns out they used to date. Turns out I wasn't just paranoid. I was right. And now I'm going to tell you exactly how they gaslit me together, spiritually. I posted it. Closed the app. Felt like throwing up. 30 minutes later. 12,000 views. 1 hour. 100K. And the comments. They didn't ask if I was crazy. They said, "Been there. My healer slept with my ex too. You're not alone, and you're not crazy." And that was the first time I didn't feel like a cautionary tale. I felt like proof. I didn't need Lana's cards. I didn't need Jason's version. I had my voice. And this time, I'd be the one who pressed send. They used my voice as a weapon, so I turned it into a megaphone and aimed it straight at both of them. By the time I woke up the next morning, the video had crossed 500,000 views. My DMs were overflowing. Some were women thanking me. Some were begging me to name names. And some were from people in our circles, spiritual coaches, intuitive mentors, even ex-clients of Lana, saying, "You're not the first. She's done this before." I thought I was the only one. That sentence echoed through every message. I thought I was the only one. And suddenly I knew I'd hit a nerve that wasn't just mine. This wasn't just a breakup. It was a blueprint. Jason texted that morning. "You're really doing this publicly." I didn't answer. He called. I let it ring. Then he left a voicemail, calm, measured, smug. This could have been handled maturely. "You're embarrassing yourself." No apology. No remorse. Just management. Then Lana posted a story. A photo of her tarot deck, candlelight flickering, her fingers splayed across the star card. Caption: Reminder, not everything sacred belongs on a screen. Hold your shadows close. Honor the silence. Translation: She was hoping I'd shut up. She had no idea who she was dealing with. That same afternoon, I booked a session. Not with her. With myself. Live. I went on TikTok. Announced. Reading the cards they didn't want you to see. I propped my phone on a stack of old relationship books. Lit a candle, just one. And said to the camera, "This isn't about revenge, it's about recognition. You made me feel insane for trusting my gut. So I'm going to show you how aligned my gut actually was." I laid out my own cards. 7 of Swords, the High Priestess, the Tower. Deception, intuition, collapse. That was the reading Lana gave me. But what she didn't say was that she already knew what was coming. Because she was the collapse. Then I played the voice note. The same one she had forwarded. I let people hear it unedited. My broken voice. My panic. My truth. And then I said, "This is what trust looks like. And this is what happens when you sell that trust to your ex." It exploded. The video passed 2 million views by midnight. Comments flooded in. "This is what betrayal really looks like. Girl, the way you owned it, I felt that in my chest. This isn't just your story, it's ours." Someone even stitched the video with a duet. "My spiritual coach cheated with my fiancé. I thought I was nuts. I thought I was the problem. Thank you for telling the truth we're scared to say." Lana went private. Jason deleted his socials. A wellness brand that had just featured her removed her post. Quietly. No public statements. Just silence. Exactly what they had tried to use against me. And now, it was their silence that looked like guilt. But I wasn't done. Because I still had receipts. Texts. DMs. A Venmo transaction from Jason to Lana 2 weeks before the reading caption. For that clarity. I posted it. No names. Just evidence. And the caption. Clarity, huh? Paid in advance, I guess. Comments lost their minds. He paid her. Girl, this is a spiritual scam ring. Lana's not a reader. She's a mole with a deck. And just like that, what started as my pain became a movement. People started sharing their stories. Tarot Exposed trended for 12 hours on TikTok. My account grew by 100K followers in a week. Not because I was perfect, but because I was honest. Jason tried one more time. An email this time. Can we at least talk like adults? I replied with one sentence. Adults don't weaponize a woman's grief. No signature. No heart. No light. Just closure. The real kind. Lana never contacted me again. But I heard from others that she stepped back from client work to realign. Good. I hope she realigns with a mirror. Because the next time she pulls the high priestess, I hope she finally sees the woman who used to sit quietly behind the cards and realizes she no longer needs her. You think getting justice will feel like flying, but no one tells you that even wings get heavy when you're carrying what they did to you. Going viral felt like taking back the mic. For about a day. Maybe two. But after the rush wore off, after the likes slowed, after the fire emoji comments faded, I felt something I hadn't prepared for. Exhaustion. The kind that sits in your bones. The kind that makes you stare at a screen for hours and not even realize the lights changed. I wasn't sad. I wasn't angry. I was just empty. The thing about public truth is, it's still public. I had thousands of people backing me. But I also had thousands watching me. Waiting. For what? Another update. Another twist. Another scream. And suddenly, I didn't know how to be quiet anymore. Because silence had once been a cage. Now it was a performance piece. I tried to go about my day. I really did. Groceries. Emails. Even laundry. But everything felt surreal, like I was living beside my life instead of in it. Every sound was sharp. Every word felt too loud. Every stranger felt like they already knew me. Even the cashier at Whole Foods gave me a look like, "Aren't you that girl from TikTok?" And maybe I was. But I didn't feel like her anymore. I stopped doing readings. Couldn't touch my own cards. Every time I looked at them, all I saw was her hand. All I heard was my voice, cracking in that note. I think he's cheating. It replayed in my head like a curse. Like I'd spoken it into existence. Wasn't that what they always said? That words create reality. So had I done this? Had I manifested betrayal? Had I drawn the tower into my life? People kept messaging me. Sweet people. Supportive people. But also people who wanted more. Who wanted breakdowns. Explanations. Names. Do you have proof they slept together? Did she ever apologize? Can you post the whole reading? They wanted content. Not healing. And I started to wonder. Was I still in control? Or had I just traded one kind of silence for a different kind of audience? Zara came over one night. She brought red wine and vegan nachos. Didn't say anything for the first 15 minutes. Then she looked at me and said, "You look haunted. I feel like a ghost of a woman who screamed once and now has to scream forever." She nodded slowly. Poured more wine. "You told the truth. That doesn't mean you owe anyone your pain forever. But what if it's all I have left?" She blinked. "Then it's time to find something else." I stared at my tarot deck for a long time after she left. Didn't touch it. Just looked at it. It used to be sacred. Now it felt like evidence. I didn't know who I was without it. Because for so long, I had been the intuitive wife. The one who felt everything. Who saw it coming before it arrived. Who read energy better than people read texts. But that girl had missed this. And I didn't know if I could forgive her. I logged off social for a week. Deleted the app. Turned off my notifications. Let the silence in. And you know what? It didn't kill me. It held me. Because the noise wasn't just out there. It was inside me, a chorus of shame, validation, fury, relief, and confusion. And the only way out of it was through. I wrote in my journal like my life depended on it. And maybe it did. Because for the first time in months, I wasn't writing for views. I was writing for myself. And on the 5th page, somewhere between, I hate that I still miss the version of him I believed in. And she didn't ruin me, she revealed me. I wrote this What they took from me was never mine to begin with. Because trust isn't about them. It's about me choosing me, even when no one else does. I picked up my cards. Shuffled once. No question. Just asked the deck to meet me again. Pulled one card. The Fool. Of course. The beginning. The risk. The leap. The faith to believe in a future where you don't need anyone else's voice to justify your own. I smiled. And for the first time since the betrayal, it felt real. They thought they wrote the ending. She rewrote the entire genre. When I came back online, I didn't announce it. No dramatic "I'm back" post. No glittery reel with violins and voiceovers. Just a single pinned video. A still shot of my face. No makeup. No filter. Caption: "This is for the women who have ever whispered truth and been punished for it." And then I did what no one expected me to do. I gave a reading. Not for love. Not for clarity. Not for answers. For revenge. No. For reclamation. I laid out 3 cards. On screen. Live. More than 40,000 people tuned in. Card 1, the Lovers. This card doesn't always mean romance. Sometimes it means choice. And sometimes you realize the person you chose was choosing someone else the entire time. Card 2, Justice. I don't need karma to come for them. I became my own justice. My voice, my story, my receipts, that was the balancing of the scale. Card 3, Queen of Swords. They called me dramatic. They called me broken. But I was never hysterical. I was accurate. And now I'm dangerous because I've stopped apologizing. The comments exploded. This is what spiritual clarity really looks like. She's not doing readings, she's doing revolution. Queen of Swords energy all year, babe. People didn't just want insight anymore. They wanted truth. And I gave it to them. Raw. Ragged. Uncompromising. I started a new series. Not crazy, just clairvoyant. Each video unpacked a tactic. Right arrow, spiritual bypassing. Right arrow, gaslighting with sage. Right arrow, calm as a weapon. Right arrow, when your intuition is louder than his alibi. The content was viral. But the comments, they were church. This saved me from breaking myself to fit a man, healing journey. She gave me the words I didn't know I was allowed to say. My husband said I was paranoid. Now he's living with his yoga teacher. Jason emailed again. Subject line: "Congrats, you win." 2 words. No punctuation. I didn't reply. Because I wasn't playing anymore. Lana. She didn't reappear. Not publicly. But 3 other women posted videos nomming her. Different cities. Same vibe. Same phrases. Same tactics. One of them said, "She told my partner I was emotionally unstable because I cried during a session." Another, "She started seeing him 2 weeks after we split, said it was fated." And then it wasn't just a story. It was a pattern. I didn't post about her again. Not directly. Because by then, she wasn't the point. I was. What I survived. What I rebuilt. What I redefined. Because healing doesn't end when the truth comes out. It ends when the shame does. And mine was gone. I pulled one last card. Off camera. No audience. Just me. The world. Full circle. Completion. Integration. The pain didn't vanish. But it wasn't steering anymore. You know what I realized? They didn't break me. They revealed me. The scream, the silence, the spiral. They weren't the breakdown. They were the becoming. And now, I don't whisper warnings. I broadcast truths. And the women who once called themselves broken, they're calling themselves ready. Because the tower didn't collapse me. It crowned me. They took my trust and tried to twist it into proof that I was unstable. But guess what? I don't need to be stable to be valid. I just need to be true. There's something strange that happens after the dust settles. You don't hear applause. You don't hear angels. You hear yourself. Breathing. Existing. Uninterrupted. And for a woman who spent years navigating between too much and not enough, that silence is holy. I used to think healing meant closure. Now I know. It just means I stopped needing the same story to end differently. Jason never apologized. Lana never reappeared. No one gave me the clarity I thought I deserved. But I gave it to myself. In pieces. In rage. In laughter. In TikToks that turned sobs into sermons. And maybe that's more powerful than forgiveness. I don't do readings for others anymore. Not because I don't believe in them, but because I finally believe in me without needing the cards to say so. Now my rituals look different. I light candles when I want stillness. I journal not to figure someone else out, but to stay inside my own narrative. I don't pull cards asking, "What does he feel?" I ask, "What do I want?" And sometimes the answer is simple. Peace. And sometimes it's louder. Never this again. I kept the voice note. Not because it hurt me, but because it saved me. That voice. That was the moment I stopped lying to myself. And yeah, it was messy. It was raw. It was cracked down the middle. But it was real. And in a world that rewards women for being quiet, composed, and digestible, real is a rebellion. People still write me. Every day. Every hour. Women who say, "I cried the whole way through your video. I didn't even realize I was being gaslit until you put words to it. You made me brave enough to ask questions and strong enough to handle the answers." And every time I read those words, I whispered to my old self, "You were never crazy, you were clairvoyant." Jason's gone. Lana's gone. But I remain. Wiser. Sharper. Softer somehow, because now my softness is on my own terms. Not as proof that I'm worthy, but as evidence that I'm already enough. If I could go back, would I undo it? The reading. The note. The exposure. No. Because sometimes, the betrayal you survive becomes the map someone else uses to escape theirs. And if my story was the flare someone needed in the dark, then let it burn. I still pull cards, but only when I want insight, not answers. Because I've learned that every woman who doubts herself is already holding the truth. She just needs someone to echo it back, without forwarding it, without judging it, without calling it toxic for being human. If that woman is you, this is your sign. You're not too much. You're not too broken. You're not too emotional. You're just unshrinking. And you're allowed to say it. Out loud. In voice notes. In poems. In fire. Because your story isn't over. It's starting to get really good. Subscribe to my Mia's Stories YouTube channel for raw, emotional stories and authentic insights that encourage healing, growth, and understanding. Don't forget to be part of a supportive space where stories inspire and lessons resonate. What do you think about this story? Let us know in the comments. Your opinion truly matters to us, and we're here for you.